Hi Boons, it's ZaciRoo, and welcome back to a brand new video. My apologies for the delay in making this video, as I've kind of lost track of time with how things have been going lately. Not in a bad way by any means. Nothing bad has happened. It's just life just has increased in speed in recent memory, and it's been hard to really delegate time to do certain things. And my brain has been kind of been in all over places, and that's when I tweeted on April 14th about finding yourself outside of ABDL, because I realized, wow, I haven't been little in like 8 months, and it's been one of those things where I didn't realize what other things were occupying my time and gave me another identity, if you will, outside of ABDL. So I wanted to share this kind of journey with you all to kind of let you know what's going on with me, and to kind of give you an update, but also to kind of give another perspective that you are more than just ABDL. So let's just kind of rewind a little bit back to June-ish 2024. I really haven't talked about my dating life too much in videos, and I'm typically a very private person when it comes to this regard, and I don't really like to talk about anything unless anything is for certain. So I have been seeing this wonderful woman for over a year now. We've been together effectively almost 2 years, and it's crazy that time has gone this fast. And the person I am with is absolutely phenomenal, and she makes me incredibly happy, and she is a wonderful, loving human being, more so than I could ever deserve. And she encourages me and loves me in every capacity of her possible being, and loves me and accepts me for who I am. She is a part of the community. She is a mommy, and she is she's my mommy for all intents and purposes. But she's so much more than that to me. She's not just my mommy, but, she's my girlfriend. She's, my lovely, she's everything to me. And so, I wanted to mention her in the introduction here to kind of paint you a picture of what having someone like that in your life can do for you. And so for me, ever since we've been together, I have been little a handful of times, a lot actually, and there actually came a point in time where I had to kind of stop wearing poofs, and it's so funny how poofs equate so much with me feeling little, but I believe I talked about this in a video in the past where I actually had an allergic reaction to the poofs that I usually wore, and I stopped wearing those. And I started wearing them again, and then I had another allergic reaction, and then another one, and then my friend Sean, who wore the same ones, and I won't mention them in this video, as they're a brand that I will not be mentioning ever again, but they caused me to have a severe allergic reaction on my baby bits, and to paint you a word picture, it felt like that my baby bits were on fire and melting, and anyways, so I had stopped wearing for a little while, and so I started wearing a different brand, one that has never failed me, and that was Abena. And I haven't worn, on a regular basis for 8 months, and so I had to stop wearing the Abena because they changed something in their their production recipe, whatever you want to call it. And I started getting this weird, bump area close to the other end, if you will. And so I got frustrated, and I had to go to the dermatologist. And, that's fun to explain to your dermatologist of hey, I have to, I wear diapers, and well, you should probably stop. And, I didn't exactly know how to say, well, I have to, so I tried my best to say, well, it's without directly lying and saying it's disability, more like a needability, but she understood, and, but anyways, after waiting for about, I don't know, 6 months of not wearing, because I would try off and on, and the issue would come back. So eventually I just threw away all the Abina diapers, and I haven't worn, except for like ABU and stuff like that. Those haven't caused me any issues, oddly enough. But anyways, fast forward to all this time happening, the kind of need and want to little kind of went away, because I associated it with, we were going to get a rash again, and all of that. And for me, I'm a super clean person, so like the rash, chemically, as my dermatologist described it, a chemically caused rash, based upon what it looked like in her opinion. This was something that wasn't a normal, I guess, human type diaper rash. It was more like a chemical burn, is what she said. But anyways, fast forward, I haven't worn diapers in like a long time. And, there have been a couple weekends where I've been little, and I was actually having a really great little weekend not too long ago, but then some shenanigans happened, and my little weekend was ruined effectively, where I had to just instantly jump out of littlespace and go back to being big. But fast forward weeks and weeks and weeks past that, and it made me come to the realization, which is where I, made that tweet on April 14th, where I was like, hey, I have done a lot, outside of ABDL in the last year than I didn't think was humanly possible. So I just want to talk to you all about that, and really hopefully I can help drive the nail home that there's more to you than ABDL. And a lot of people associate a lot with this as an identity. And it's just not one of those things that I don't think you can really say is a full identity, because there was someone before you as a little, and there's someone as you when you're not a little. And I know a lot of people in the comments would probably be like, well, I'm little 24/7, it's always me, which that's not exactly the case, because we all have to be an adult. So there's always that adult you somewhere. So the adult me has done a lot of crazy stuff, and it's been so crazy to think I've been able to do such things. So, I've been able to explore other hobbies, and other interests, and I've been able to accomplish a lot. And one of the reasons why I haven't been posting videos as often as I do is because the I guess the need or want to be little isn't all the way there. And so I don't want to be little in a half-hearted way. I want to fully enjoy it. And so over the last year, I have done a handful of things that have taken a great deal of time and have poured a great deal of passion into, but also doing adult things. Adult things, are always fun. That's partly sarcasm and partly, not. But I restored my childhood go-kart. Me and my dad have rekindled our relationship since 2020 effectively, so we have been pretty good terms. We've had a couple of issues here and there where I've had to, scale back a little bit from my interactions with him, but then I talked to him about it, and he seems to somewhat understand. But, in June of 2024, I restored my childhood go-kart, and it took me a long time to do. And what's funny is that the axle housing just snapped off a couple of weeks ago, and so like my childhood go-kart is sitting there three-legged, and so I have to learn how to weld now. And that's another adult thing that I'm going to be doing is learning how to weld and purchasing a welder and all that, because this is something that I've really enjoyed. Tinkering with the go-kart, doing things with it, painting it, adding underglow, a custom racing seat, steering wheel. I've done all these things with the help of my friends, my best friend Sean, because he has a welder and he has welded some stuff for me. But now I'm going to try and learn to weld myself. But anyways, other stuff I've done, like in 2023, like I began turning my middle bedroom, which I've never really talked about in other videos previous to this. My other bedroom is now a hobby space. So like I have a dedicated hobby space where I can do a hobby, multiple hobbies if I want to. But it's a main focused hobby space. I can't talk about it too much here, as it's something that I want to keep separate from ABDL, but it's a hobby and passion that is near and dear to my heart. But other than that, like, just in the last 2 years, I have been able to really do adulty things, and I've really been able to just do all these crazy things I never thought I'd be able to do. I've been doing home improvement stuff. I've been doing, trying to make my house a little bit better, insulating, spray foam insulation. I've been repairing stuff around the house. I've done a retaining wall. I've done a massive flower bed in my front yard. Just all kinds of things that I never would have done. I've done electrical work inside my house, which is not far from things I haven't done before. But when you are up in the attic and you're running electrical, and you are out of your wheelhouse when it comes to code, and you're having to like look up code left and right to figure out what's acceptable for code if you ever sell the house, and you had to study these things and really understand, and you do it and everything works. It's been this way for like 2 years now, and the house hasn't burned down yet, knock on wood. They're crazy adulty things, but needless to say, the realization set in, like, oh wow, I haven't been little in such a long time because I've been doing all these things, and maybe all these things are occupying my time, and maybe this is just one of those periods where you have to take a break from ABDL to do the adult things. But for me, I wouldn't think that a break would be a year and a half long, roughly. I would have thought that I would have delved full force back into littlespace, but I really haven't. And it's not because I don't want to, it's just I don't need to. And I've been able to experience parts of myself that I definitely didn't know were there. The capability, the manliness, I guess, if you want to say, is there. I didn't know those parts of me were there, and so now that they're there. And what's funny is, like, the last 2 weeks would have been a perfect time for me to be baby, and for my girlfriend / mommy to take care of me, because I've been injured. I was attacked by a dog recently, and I got thrown off my bike, and I went shoulder first in my neighbor's mailbox, which is a great way to meet your neighbors. And my shoulder is bruised. I have this massive bruise on my tibia, and I'm hobbling around like an old man because of it. So definitely the opportunity to be baby, but I kind of can't because, just again, the need isn't there. And as pathetic and as weak as I feel right now because I'm hurt, is one of those things where I you would think you would feel little, but I haven't. But anyways, the realization of all of this, and actually, like, physically talking to you about it, is just one of those things I encourage you all to really look into. I would love for everyone to take the opportunity to look at themselves and be like, all right, cool. What else is about you other than diapers and stuff like that? I think is something we all should really do. Because I don't think it's super healthy to put a lot of stock into, well, I'm just a baby and that's just it. Because there's so much more to you. There are so many brilliant and wonderful facets about you that I feel like a lot of us overlook because we are more hyper-focused on trying to repair some of the damage that has been done, or to focus on bits and pieces of our childhood that made us the most happy, because times are kind of tough and we have to be able to self-care. And there are definitely, ABDL is definitely one of those things. Being a little regressing is definitely one of those things where it is a great way to self-care, is a great way to heal those wounds and to take yourself out of what's going on. And it's helped me quite a bit over the years. And anyways, the biggest thing that I've noticed is that when you are at your happiest, you tend to kind of tend to kind of, for me at least, turn away from ABDL a little bit, and you tend to kind of focus on what's going on. And so I feel like that for me, that if this continues, that that a real balance in my life, I think, will finally have been achieved. And I'm excited for that prospect. I really am. It's one of those things where I always put to myself, like, well, you're just gonna be, a baby. That's just you. And certain things have happened in my life where it's kind of been an awakening where you have to be. It was kind of like an awakening where it was, how can I put this? It's where there were spurts of growing up that I think has happened, and it's really been one of those things where it's happened since I've turned 30 and have gone beyond that. This year I'll be 35, which is crazy. I never thought I'd be 35. I still feel like I'm 25, and these things, this may be a whole phase where I've had a break from ABDL because of medical necessity, and it just so happens to be that I'm super happy, and so like the need really isn't there. But who knows? We just don't really know, because our minds are very interesting pieces of machinery, if you will. They function in very interesting ways. But me illustrating to all of you that there are many crazy, amazing things outside of ABDL that you are, and using my examples of, like, well, I've worked on my go-kart, I've repaired my car, my girlfriend's car, I've played mechanic multiple times now in the last year and a half, 2 years. I've done home improvement stuff. I've focused on another hobby and interest of mine. I've been able to expand and do all these crazy things. Has really made me realize, like, wow, there is a ton more to you than just being little. And I feel like for a lot of us, that's a lot what we see when we compare ourselves to others. And by no means am I saying you should compare yourself to me and the things I've done. I'm saying to look at yourself and to see how much more there is to you than just ABDL. And I think you will all be pleasantly surprised to see just how awesome you all are. And this doesn't stray away from my message that I've been sharing with you all for the last 10 plus years, and that is to stay true and to stay you. I'm not saying to change yourself at all, no pun intended. What I am saying is to explore more and to see more of yourself in a positive light. For the longest time, I've always talked about that you're not weird, that you're not outcast, that you're not these derogatory things that a lot of people would paint about being a little or a part as a member of this community. And I still say that. I still hold true to that message, if you will. I'm just adding a little bit extra now to it, and that is to stay true and to stay you, and that you is so much more. I want to say you are more than meets the eye. Like the whole Transformers thing. And we kind of are. We all are kind of like Transformers. We change. We go from one mode to another. Baby mode and the other mode, which who knows what that could be. It's an awesome mode, whichever mode it is, but it's you, and that's the most important part. Is it's you, and you are staying true to you. Hopefully that all made sense. I've always wanted to talk about something like this in the past. I just didn't know how to phrase it and to verbalize it, because every time I'd come close to want to talk about it, I would just instantly go back in a little space and it would slip my mind. And that's just one of those things where the fact that I can do it now is pretty crazy. So If you would like for me to expand more on this topic, I will gladly do so in our next video. The next video, I'm kind of debating on doing a room tour of my nursery, which is by all means not done, but it's changed quite a bit since the last video I did where I kind of showed stuff about it. Just a little bit, but it's still changed. But other than that, I do have some other video ideas. Videos are going to be coming a little slower than normal from previous years. I know normally I would post like, every month, twice a week, twice a month, once a month. Or every week. I remember doing that for a little while. That was crazy. But for the time being, videos are going to come probably once a month. I know that's not ideal, especially because a lot of my content has been hidden. And I will talk about that in a future video of why the majority of my content has gone away. And that is something, that I will address then. I do want to talk about it in depth. So I'll touch on that on our next video, but I'd love to know your thoughts in the comment section down below of this, what you thought about this video, and if you would like to establish a dialogue. I do have a Discord server. It's called ZaciRoo's Playroom, where we can talk about all the cool things. I will have that linked somewhere. So you guys have a fantastic rest of your week. As always, stay true and stay you, and I will see you in the next video. Until then, friends, good night, boons.